Welcome back, everyone, to the HNL Movement podcast. I'm excited about this episode. Got a well known comedian in the community, Mr. Augie T, to join me today, and it's going to be a great episode. Thanks so much for joining me, Augie.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry that you guys have to watch and look at the background. You see, that's my mom's favorite K-pop singer. I'm in my mom's room, and my mom, was compelled to decorate her room. Mom and dad moved into my home about 7 years ago because my dad got really sick and he needed attention, medical, and with paying for that and paying for their home was just too difficult and tough. So they moved in and we didn't have end game. So my dad passed away. My mom is still here. My mom is just, as you can see.
But some of that you got to be converting right into K-pop. Are you a K-pop fan too?
I like Blackpink. I've taken my family to Korea. So I got hired to do comedy in Korea to perform for troops. And, everywhere in the world, there's local people from Hawaii. And there were about 200 and they requested I come up and do comedy. The military took care of our flights. And the trade-off was if they can fly my daughter and my wife, because they're big BTS fans. So we arranged the homie performing for the military around this BTS concert. I had no idea who BTS was. All I knew was that maybe it was the Thursday before the show, but I went to the Seoul Korea or stadium, and I've never seen so much Korean girls in my life. I was like, wow. And, it wasn't just one day. It was just, a week. So, I was introduced to BTS and, I won't say I'm a huge fan, but I like their music.
I mean, they're taking the world by storm right now. So yeah, to get started, I mean, everyone, you're a well-known name in the Hawaii community and everything. And you recently just ran for city council member, I believe, and congratulations on winning. But for all of the local comedians, it's interesting to hear your story. I mean, I've talked to Tony Silva, who, Tumua Tuine, who's up and coming now. And all of everyone's stories, it's so interesting to see how they got into comedy. So let's start there, Augie, with your story growing up. Everyone has heard it in your bits and everything, but explain a little bit about what was your childhood like growing up in Kalihi, I believe, and everything.
Yeah. So, I'm the oldest of five, right? So my dad maybe kind of sensed that if I stayed around in the summer, I would have hang out with kids that he hang around with growing up in Kalihi Valley housing. Mm-hmm. So every summer he would send me away so I can be with my older cousins so they can, not only watch over me, maybe help me understand and, by their examples of hard work, not involved with the community because you've heard it, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And my dad knew that the kids that I hang around with during the school year might have not been the best examples. I love them to death, and I still friends with some of them in jail, some of them passed away. But he just felt like maybe that I had a chance to do something special. So he protected me and sent me away to be around my older cousins who, again, went to work, showed me something outside of Kalihi. And one summer, my auntie dragged me to a concert, an Yvonne Elliman concert. I don't know if you guys remember Yvonne Elliman. She sang the song, "If I can't help you, I don't want nobody, baby." And I was, doing the Saturday Night Fever phase. My auntie loved Yvonne Elliman. I was watching my auntie just, rock out, Filipino lady about 4 feet, 5 maybe. She was just, I can't help you. I don't want. And I was like, why am I here? And in the 4th grade, why am I here watching all these old people dance? I wanted to see the guy that opened for Yvonne Element.
Ah,
So Andy Bumatai opened for Yvonne Element. Andy was in the height of his career, just left Booga Booga to do his, his stand-up special. And I saw a guy make 3,000 people laugh. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I was a kid that at parties, my dad, I used to impersonate people. I used to impersonate Howard Cosell. I used to impersonate John Wayne. And I used to do, Howard Cosell doing a boxing match in the housing. And kids used to gather around me, and as I go, this says Howard Cosell here at Building 3 as Afatia Talafalava fights the, and kids used to crack up and laugh, right? And I saw Andy perform and I was blown away. And I knew right there what I wanted to become. I wanted to be a stand-up comic. And my auntie, who's my godmother, took me to like Crest Store. Remember Crest Store in Maui? And bought me cassette tapes while I was there in the summer of, George Carlin, Bill Cosby. And then I discovered Booga Booga. My cousins had a Booga Booga album. And because it had, adult content on the album, I would get the big remember those big earphones that like come out to about this big, and I would spend days just listening to Booga Booga and all the swear words, and I'd be laughing, and I mimicked Rap Replinger. I could mimic. I knew every word. I knew every skit, and that was kind of the liftoff of making the kids in my neighborhood laugh. It got me out of a lot of fights, being the funny guy. And in the 8th grade, I was messing up in English, and a teacher, Miss Murakami, and there are so many people that guided me in going into the right direction. And I was messing up in school, and she pulled me on the side. And I love this lady to death because my dad was a raging alcoholic, and my mom was very loving. So it was very dysfunctional, my family. And she knew, what maybe a lot of people knew, but never come out and say. She said, I think you're somebody special. I believe in you. And that's the first time I heard anybody outside of my family, say something to me that would affect me and move my heart. And she said, I want you to enter the speech contest. And I was like, speech contest? I don't know. So only the nerds, right? Only the nerds do speech contests. But because she was so passionate about wanting to help me, and the fact that she said she believed in me, she spent time with me after school. And that's why I really admire teachers that go above and beyond, because I now speak at different schools, and I tell them, your worst day could be the most amazing day for a kid that's like me, challenged by life, not having the most of everything, but all they need is hope. All they need is a little encouragement. And she took some time out of her schedule to meet with me after school to help me do my speech. And I went out to do room service, Rep Replinger, right? And
yes.
because it's something that I wanted to do, but she wanted to challenge me on speaking good English. And Rap Replinger's room service, you had to play the howly guy and the local auntie, right? And she would spend time with me. And I remember getting into the cafeteria, 8th grade, and I always tell students when I tell this story, what happens when you rehearse? What happens when people believe in you? Man, there's a fire, there's a desire to really do well. And I walked into the cafeteria that morning, and the curtains was closed, and behind the curtain was all the kids that I never associate with. right? All the kids that made fun of me because I was dyslexic, I never paid attention. All the nerdy kids, and they were kind of looking at me like, "What are you doing here?" And in my head, I was like, "You let me punch your face now or after?" But because I was ready and because I was confident, I was ready to like prove them wrong. And that's kind of like where it started for me when people doubted.
Mhm.
And people said, you cannot. That's when I knew with faith, with people believing in you, with confidence, that you can do anything that's possible. And I'm so thankful for moments like that. And I remember, like just feeling like a $1,000,000. And then the curtain opens. And now there's 800 kids, no intermediate school. And they see me sitting on stage. And in the back of the room, all my neighborhood friends from the housing was like, okay, get off the stage. You will get busted. Get off the stage. And even them was like, what are you doing? They thought I was just messing around because I was that guy. And I was like, no, I belong. you know, but like, the most amazing thing happens, when your friends and your family see you step outside the box and do something that's so out of the ordinary. Of course they're skeptical, but then behind all of that is like, yes, somebody from our neighborhood, somebody that shouldn't be up, it's up there stepping outside the box, doing something so out of the ordinary. And I remember when the MC and all, you guys remember the intermediate or elementary MC was, really a nerdy kid that said, today, the speech contest, we have contestants doing dramatic interpretation, humorous interpretation, always the same, right? And coming up to do humorous interpretation is Augie Tulba. And I just remember the whole back of the audience was like, yeah. And I got up. I was confident because somebody believed in me. I saw Miss Murakami. She gave me the whole, and I remember doing housekeeping. Oh, no, you puncture me off. Room service, can I help you? This is Mr. Fogarty, room 1225. I'd like to order some dinner and have it sent up to my room. And what room was that? Room 1225. Oh, one more time, please. 1225. And I won the speech contest.
That is a huge feat. And I mean, it's so inspirational and motivational. And I gotta be full disclosure, like I've heard you give this speech before. So I love it every time you give this impersonation, do the whole room service bit.